The Trump administration that's going to be coming in 2025 intends to turbocharge their denaturalization project. They started this project in the last Trump administration, and in 2025, according to Stephen Miller, the immigration czar for the Trump administration, they plan to turbocharge it. In this video, I will be talking about what denaturalization is, who's at risk, what happened the last time that the last Trump administration as far as the denaturalization project, and what you can expect moving forward. I am U.S. Immigration Attorney Lilian Chukwurah, and I help my clients get green cards and citizenships for themselves and their families using the U.S. immigration law system. In order for the U.S. government to strip someone of their citizenship, the government, must initiate a process called denaturalization. Okay, the denaturalization is the process that they take the citizenship away. This can only happen in federal court. So the immigration court is not involved. This is federal court only when it comes to denaturalization. The federal court can then order the revocation of the naturalization. Again, this is not up to USCIS. This is not up to ICE. This is up to a federal judge. A person's denaturalization can be revoked either through a civil process or a criminal process. Okay, they can give you a criminal conviction or a civil revocation. And we're going to talk about the difference between the civil and criminal. Whether they're bringing a civil case or a criminal case, the government has to prove that the underlying act, the thing that led them to wanting to revoke your citizenship, was material to the government giving you citizenship. Okay, whatever the reason that they're using to say that you should not keep your citizenship, it has to have mattered to the decision when it came to you getting citizenship. Now let's talk about the civil grounds. There are 5 grounds when it comes to the civil proceedings. In order for them to bring these, you have to fit into one of these 5 categories. The first one is if you illegally got your naturalization. Second one, you concealed or willfully misrepresented a material fact during your naturalization proceedings to get your citizenship. Number 3, you became a member of or affiliated with a subversive group. Think terrorist organization. 4, you got your citizenship through military service and has since been discharged from the military under other than honorable conditions. So you were dishonorably discharged from the military. And then finally, 5, you got your citizenship through a parent or a spouse, and that parent or spouse have themselves been denaturalized. There is a burden of proof. The government has to prove one of these things, and the bar that they have to meet is clear, convincing, and unequivocal evidence. Okay, this is not 50%. This is not 51%. This is very high bar because they know they're trying to take away your right to be a U.S. citizen. So it's clear, convincing, and unequivocal evidence. That's a high bar. With the civil process, you do not have a right to counsel. You do not have a right to jury trial. And there is no statute of limitations. They can still choose to look at your case even if you got your citizenship 20 years ago. 5 years ago, 1 year ago, 50 years ago, right? They can go back and still try to get you denaturalized. So that's what it means by statute of limitation. There's no statute of limitations under the civil process. Now let's talk about the criminal process. In order for them to bring a criminal charge against you that will lead to criminal conviction and potentially some jail time, if you are convicted, they need to prove that you knowingly got your citizenship or attempted to get citizenship through an unlawful manner. So you did something illegal to get your citizenship, or you tried to do something illegal to get your citizenship. And they must prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. Unlike the civil side, you have a right to counsel, you have a right to a jury trial, and there is a statute of limitations. They cannot bring this criminal charge against you 20 years from now. They can only bring it within 10 years of you getting your citizenship. So if you're past that 10-year mark since you got your citizenship, you will not be charged under the criminal side, but remember, the civil side is still there. So the statute of limitation for the criminal charge to get someone denaturalized is 10 years. While as the civil side, there is no statute of limitations. How likely is it that they will actually do this? First off, did you see the tweet from Stephen Miller when we started this whole video? Okay, he said this is a priority for them. Denaturalization is going to be turbocharged. That's a priority if I ever heard one, right? So that's number one. We need to believe them, right? If they're saying that's what they want to do, they're going to turbocharge it. Let's believe them, all right? So not only are we going to believe them, we're going to also look at the numbers. From 1990 to 2017, there was an average of 11 people, right? 11 denaturalization cases per year. From 1990 to 2017, that's less than 300. From 1990 to 2017. Now, under the first Trump administration, DHS referred 95 cases to denaturalization from 2017 to 2018. In 2018, they were intending to refer an additional 1,600 cases for prosecution. So when I say refer, that means they're sending it to the Department of Justice to actually bring the either civil or criminal denaturalization proceedings against these individuals. So 1,600, 2018. And then in 2019, in their budget for 2019, ICE revealed that they intended to review the files of about 700,000 U.S. citizens to basically decide if there's more people that they should be putting into denaturalization proceedings and referring to court and either doing criminal or civil proceedings against them. 2019, 700,000 files being reviewed by ICE to figure out how many of those 700,000 they're going to put in denaturalization proceedings. Okay. Let that sink in, right? That's a lot of cases that they were looking at to put in denaturalization proceedings. Now, if that is turbocharged, right? Turbocharged, the way I take it is that they're going to put more funding behind ICE to do these things. That means more ICE officers that are focused just on reviewing these cases and referring these cases to the Department of Justice to bring either criminal or civil charges for denaturalization. And then let's also talk about what could happen in the future, who could be targeted. With the Trump administration, they do not seem to have a specific type of case that they're targeting. They're basically reviewing everyone that's ever been naturalized and making a decision of whether they should keep their citizenship or not, if they fit into one of those. What I can tell you is in previous administrations, their focus had been looking at war criminals, right? Family members of war criminals that did not disclose that they were family members of war criminals, or war criminals themselves that immigrated to the U.S. and changed their name and identity and all of that. That's kind of who they were historically targeting with the denaturalization. That's not going to be the case moving forward. Anyone that they feel fits into this can end up in denaturalization proceedings. One thing to keep in mind is, and the one that really everyone needs to think about, is that if you got your citizenship, if you became naturalized because you got your green card through your spouse or through your parents, and your spouse or parent gets denaturalized, you are next. If your spouse or parent gets denaturalized and you got your green card and then eventually your naturalization through that parent or that spouse, if they lose it, then you, my dear, you also lose it. They can now bring a charge against the main immigrant, the parent, or the spouse. And once they are able to denaturalize that spouse, that parent, they can now look at who got citizenship through that parent, who got citizenship through that spouse. And they can denaturalize those people. And then if those people also have a spouse or children that got citizenship through them, those ones can also be denaturalized and just down the line. So I am not fear mongering. I don't think, most people are going to fit into this, right? Most people are not going to fit into the denaturalization, grounds. And the good thing is, this is going to end up going to federal court. There's federal rules of procedures, civil procedure, criminal procedure. It has to be followed, right? It's not just the signing of a line that says, okay, this person is no longer a citizen. No, only a federal judge can take away your citizenship. So do not be afraid. But one thing you need to know is, if one of these things comes against you, you need to get you a lawyer. All right? Do not try to defend yourself in federal court by yourself. You need a lawyer that is well versed in denaturalization. If you can't find one, feel free to reach out to me. I will be able to find you one and give you referrals, because this is serious. All right? Because this not only affects you as the primary immigrant they're trying to take away your naturalization. If anyone got their citizenship through you, this affects them as well. So take it seriously if you ever end up in the naturalization process. So before you get too afraid to even do anything, remember, denaturalization is not a signature that the president signs. It's not something that ICE just does. It's not something that USCIS does. They can refer you to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice then have to bring the civil or criminal case against you. And then you go through court. There's a federal judge that makes the final decision in a civil case. Or a jury will make the decision in a criminal case. So, don't despair. Don't let the media convince you that every single person that's a naturalized citizen is about to lose their citizenship. It's a fight. That's a lot of people to get denaturalized in 4 years. Okay? That's a lot of manpower. That's a lot of money that the government will need to put into it. And this is coming from someone that has family naturalized. My entire family is naturalized. My parents, my sister, my husband, naturalized. So when I say, don't let this stop you from living your life, please don't. It's hard, right? When you listen to the news and everyone's talking about, oh, they're taking everyone's citizenship away. Yes, that's the plan. They want to turbocharge it. But I refuse to live in fear, because I went through the process to become a citizen. We all went through that process. USCIS did extensive background checks on all of you out there that have your citizenship, that have your green card. They did extensive background checks on all of us to get to where we are. So they will really need to prove their case that every single one that they're referring either illegally got their citizenship, we misrepresented, willfully concealed a material fact. We became a part of a subversive group. And then for the ones that got their citizenship through the military, that they were dishonorably discharged, right? They would need to prove all of those things in order to take your citizenship away. So before you start freaking out, just remember, even if they bring that case against you, They will still need to prove it. If it's a criminal case, beyond a reasonable doubt. If it's a civil case, clear, convincing, and unequivocal evidence. And you will have a lawyer by your side. Okay? You should. Do not go at this alone. I'm not going to say that again. Do not go at this alone. Get you a federal court, a federal court lawyer, right? A lawyer that's well versed in federal cases to represent you. It's hard to take someone's citizenship away because of the standard. The burden of proof is so high. But that's all I have for you today. Don't despair. We got this. Whatever comes, just know I'll be here giving you all the latest and telling you exactly what you can expect, what you can do to protect yourself moving forward. Okay? So, chin up. Go out there and be the best citizen that you can be. I'll see you next time.